so we'll do 2 more examples on this work. This one says Ali needs to make 800 grams of pastry. Flour and butter are needed in the ratio 3:1. In cooking, it's really important to get those ratios right, otherwise you can ruin a whole recipe. How much flour is needed? So what we're looking for in the end is how much flour. All right, so if we have a look at the 2 things they've been talking about, it's flour and butter. There are 2 headings, flour and butter. That's the order they wrote them in the question. And it's 3:1. That's the ratio they gave you in the question. So we're looking for how much flour. The whole thing, flour and butter together, makes the pastry. So the total thing that we want is the pastry, 800 grams. So let's add our parts together. We have 4 parts making this pastry. And we have 800 grams of that pastry. Okay, so we're finding 1 part. Always we find 1 part first. So what do we have to do to 4 to get an answer of 1? We divide by 4. Come over the other side and do the same to keep everything balanced. 800 divided by 4 will give you 200. And now we're going to just concentrate on what the question wants. The question wants you to find how much flour. So the flour is this one here, the 3 parts. All right, so we're just going to find the 3 parts only. All right, so we can just do 200 for the 1 part times 3. We end up with 600, and it's measured in grams. So we can say, therefore, we have 600 grams of flour. Okay, let's look at one more question. Now, an alloy is when you mix metals together. All right, that's often done. Sometimes you'll believe that you've got gold. You won't have pure gold. The gold will be mixed with something else because gold is a soft metal. It's not very strong. So if you want to make a ring or a necklace or something out of gold, like this would be 9-carat gold. All right, 9 carats is not the whole thing. All right, so there's other metals in there to strengthen it so it's not going to break and fall off. Okay, so an alloy is a mix of metals. This one is mixed with copper and zinc. Okay, and the copper is the first one in the ratio and the zinc is the second. So let's put those headings down. Copper, that's the first one they said. The second one was zinc. There are our headings. Our ratio underneath is 5:6. So we're looking at the mass of copper is what we have to find. Okay, but the whole alloy is 176 kilograms. So all of this together is 176 kilograms. So we have to add our parts together because all of this makes up the alloy. So we have 11 parts all together, and the whole alloy is 176 kilograms. Okay, we always find 1 part. So what are we doing to 11 to get to 1? We're dividing by 11. So that means we have to do the same over here and divide by 11. So 176 divided by 11 will be 16. All right, and we're now finding just the copper. Now the copper is 5 parts. So we're only finding 5 parts. So we're going to take the 1 part and times by 5. And that will give you an answer of 80. And we're going to put kilograms on the end. So therefore we have 80 kilograms of copper. And that's the answer to the question. So with all of these, you can see the amount of working that we're doing. With all of them, I want you to do the same thing. So start with whatever your headings are, ratio underneath. Total parts equals the total quantity. 1 part equals. Then make sure you read the question. So for this one, I only had to find the copper. But for some questions, they'll want both. They might say, find how much copper and zinc. All right, so then you would have to do the 5 parts and the 6 parts as your 2 answers. Okay, in this one, we only had to do 1 answer. So make sure you read the question and show every single step of the working, no shortcuts.